We're back at Current Electric Vehicles. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is what it takes to convert a car to electric. And a lot of the times, so I'm here with Bert. And Bert is really instrumental in making some of these packs. But how many times have you heard, well, why does it take so long? All you have to do is put a battery in and take the motor out and put another motor in, right?
Yeah, that's not exactly like that.
This is actually a completed pack. We're ready to put the top on, right?
Yeah.
So let's go over here and let's look at it. Maybe you can walk us through what it takes to actually build a battery pack. So right here, we start with, what is this?
So that in particular is an LG module, and it's composed by 2 cells in parallel and 12 cells in series. So that means that completely charged is around 50 to 51 volts.
Okay, that's a single module.
Yeah.
And now I noticed there's 2 modules stacked.
Yeah. And in
Why
the
2
middle,
stacked?
because in the middle there is a cooling plate that is designed by us. You can see the intake and the outlet. And between the cooling plate and the module, there are 2 thermal pads to prevent any bubble of air in the middle between the module and the cooling plate, because the air is an insulation, so the thermal conductivity is bad. So that's why we put the thermal pad.
So now we started with 1 module.
Yep.
We stacked, we got 2.
Yep.
And then we come over here, I notice there's 4
Yes.
stacks of 2. So what are we doing now at this point?
So in this particular pack, there are 2 double modules, and there is a third one that is just 1 single module. So in total in this pack there are 5 modules. So that means 50-50, that means 250 volts at completely charged, when the pack is completely charged. In particular, this is the main pack of the battery. The second pack is the other one that we started the video. So this is the main pack. What that means? That means that in pack there is the main BMS that control all the cells. Each cells, that's the most the task that takes the longest job, is to wire all single tap. You can see here, for each single cell that is inside each modules, there is 1 wire that arrives from here to the BMS. So the BMS can see all the voltage of each cells and keep everything balanced. That's important because the lithium-ion battery are kind of picky about that. What there is more than the BMS? We can see here 3 small high voltage contactors that are used for the auxiliary services. So, for example, the AC, the heater, the charger, and there is also another small one that is done for the pre-charge system. Let's talk about that later. Then we can see the fuse, the small fuse, the fuse holder for the high voltage services. Then back here there is the let's call it the traction part. So that means that this is the main contactor of this box, and this is the main fuse of this box. And here in particular is the current sensor that is connected to the BMS. So the BMS can know everything about this battery. Because of the capacity of the inverter, you need a pre-charge system. So all the current that go through the inverter pass through this small resistance, that is the pre-charge resistance. The capacitor of the pack is charged. At that point, you can close the main contactor that is where all the current of the car pass. So when you floor the car, all the current pass through this contactor.
Let's go back to this pre-charge resistor. Why would I need a pre-charge resistor if all the current's going through there?
Because in the moment that you close the contactor, the capacitor of the inverter is normally empty, because there was no current before you close it in. What that means, a capacitor, when it's completely empty and you give to the capacitor the current, is basically a short circuit. That means that you will have a spike in the current that could damage your circuit, maybe not the first time, but doing it more and more and more, is gonna damage your circuit. In particular, the first things that will be damaged is the contactor itself.
Because so as soon as you flip the switch, if you don't have a pre-charge resistor to slow the current down and bring everything up to full speed, you hit this with full pack voltage, and you could arc across that and weld it closed.
Yeah, because you can, no, exactly, because for the first millisecond you could hit thousands of amps.
Okay.
So to prevent that, what we do, what everyone's do with inverters, you insert a parallel circuit that is connected from one pole of the contactor to the other pole of the contactor, and you let pass the current from this resistor. So that what means that the peak of the current is governed by this single resistor.
Right.
So the capacitor of the inverter can be charged slowly. It takes a second, couple of seconds, no more.
Right.
When the VCU, in our case, the vehicle control unit, sees that the voltage of the inverter matches the voltage of the BMS, so the voltage of the battery, at that point he knows that he can close the main contactor because the voltage is already the same, so there is not a big inrush current. That's the name of the effect. And at that point you open the pre-charge contactor because you don't need it anymore.
That's a general overview
that's
of what it actually takes
overview
to build a battery pack from scratch. Let's walk out to the floor. That was one set of battery packs. This is one of the packs for the clown shoe, and you'll notice we got the contactors here. We have a BMS. The Welshman has wired the BMS. I did the rest of the pack and put the coolings in. Now here is the second part of the pack, right? And I've got the cooling in, got some of the bus bars in, and now I'm going to work on putting the rest of the BMS and the cooling in. So now let's go back here and we'll look at one last pack. And the point of showing you all this is that it's not just putting a battery pack in and taking the gas tank out. A lot more goes into building a battery pack than what you would think. So if you look over there, you see Dale over there. That's one of the enclosures that the batteries that you saw on the table over there will go inside that. All right, Dale. So you've built a couple of these for some of the projects. What does it entail, building the battery box for the batteries that we looked at earlier?
Generally, there's a light assembly and checking parameters, confirming measurements and clearances, tacking up the box, which is where Jack has this one right now. Mm-hmm. And once everything is doubly confirmed, final weld of the enclosures.
Now, this is aluminum though, so isn't it likely to warp when you start welding it? So how do you prevent that from happening?
Well, it really depends on the alloy that was selected during the design of the battery box. And this one is a 6000 series aluminum, which is less prone to warping.
We're going to go talk to the Welshman, who's very close to completing a pack. All right, what do you have here?
This is two separate packs that make up an 800 volt pack. So each one of these is 400 volts.
Okay, and now I noticed you got a whole bunch of wires here. We saw a completed BMS over there. So how tedious is it to do this?
Fairly. The BMS wiring is fairly tedious. The low voltage stuff is a bit more fun if you like that kind of stuff. You can get a little more creative with your wire routing. You just take a bit of pride in it, make it look nice. And think ahead to service. In 5, 10, 20 years, if one of these contactors goes out, you want to be able to just send one with a plug so that, just think of the next guy, because it's probably going to be you.
There you go. Well, I worked in service for over 20 years, and just to hear you say that warms my heart. No, so that is the genius of putting these packs together. One, you build it for service, but the biggest thing is you're building it from scratch. So when people talk about EV conversions, this is what it takes just to get the battery pack up and running and assembled and into a car to actually be able to drive it. So, it's not as simple as, just put a battery in the trunk and an electric motor under the hood. It's not quite that simple.
That'll work for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while.
Until something goes wrong.
Until you have to stop real quick. But yeah, so check us out on Current Electric Vehicles, and you'll see more informative videos like this. And, maybe one day when you're ready to build an EV, you'll have enough information to do it. So let's go talk to the Welshman
who's not here.